Good evening, Pine Cliffs. I'm your host, Galen Good, and welcome to the Pine Cliffs Observer, watching them to keep you safe. Well, Pine Cliffs, things have finally gone back to normal. Well, as normal as things can get. We've changed the locks on the station's doors, put in some better security cameras. We've even have a motion-activated trip mine or two. Well, we think so. Austin Patterson, manager in training, seems to have misplaced them. So we are treading carefully around the station today, Pine Cliffs. And before I forget, Pine Cliffs, a few of you faithful listeners were worried about the news. Well, worry no more. The news has fully recovered. One last thing before we get into the meat of today's broadcast. Wanderer, or the Wanderer, I guess. Wherever you are, I won't be meeting with you. I talked it over with the station owner, Amelia Mallor, and we agreed that a meeting with you just wouldn't be practical. According to you, we can't perceive you directly, and a meeting under, those kind of conditions would just be a hassle. Also, we don't think you're being entirely honest with us. You say that we can't perceive you directly, but our station intern, Elza, was able to perceive you just fine, without any issue. It's like Amelia said, something about your story is off. Sorry, but I won't be meeting with you. With that out of the way, here's the news. Pine Cliffs, as you know, we have already sent out station intern, Elza Talbot, to the east and west of our little town. On these expeditions, she found our neighboring towns, which was surprising, to say the least. We had never had neighboring towns before, so the discovery of Redwood and Snowbank were unexpected, as were Elza's run-ins with the Wanderer. She was understandably reluctant to leave town on her own again, but station manager-to-be, Austin Patterson, said he'd go with her. So that's where they are now, driving south. I've already received some texts from Elza about it. Apparently, to the south of us lies a vast, snowy plain, not unlike the one surrounding Snowbank. Everything is bright as day, the moonlight reflecting off the snow. Sounds nice, Pine Cliffs. I'll have to go there sometime. Sorry, Pine Cliffs. Hold on for just a moment. I just saw someone move on the monitors here in my booth. It's probably just Amelia coming by to pick up this month's ad contracts. Austin left them on his desk for her. Where's Amelia? I know I saw something move. Did the news get out again? No, still in its cage. What was that? Do I want to turn around? Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, thank goodness. It's just a piece of paper someone slipped underneath my door. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Wanderer was here. He's the only one that slips anything underneath the door, and I still haven't seen anyone on the security monitors. Let's see what he's written for me this time. We will speak sometime, Galen. You will not deny me forever, and I will not remain silent. I will repay. Well then, make sure my, the door's locked. And, revolver's here. What the? That's fine. He can't get in. This room is almost the same as one of the safe rooms in Amelia's deluxe lake houses. I can see him on the camera monitors. He's left the door, but he's not exiting the building. He's walking towards it. Oh, crap! Pinecliffs, I am underneath my desk. The Wanderer has headed towards the control room. The only thing between my little recording booth and him is a window. Pinecliffs, the best I can do right now is to hope that the Wanderer thinks I'm gone. Just in case he doesn't, I'll use what little power I have here to take you out of this moment. Here's a pre-recorded message from our sponsors. Are you working hard this winter, Pinecliffs? Working late into the night? Working until your hands are covered? What are your hands covered with? Is it dirt? Is it blood? Is it your blood? Only you know, Pinecliffs. Remember that. Nike. Just do it. Pinecliffs, the Wanderer is gone. The window between the control room and my recording booth has been shattered. The bulletproof glass lasted long enough. I'm not sure where he went, but I'm not seeing him on the monitors. I assume he's left the building. If he comes back, I'll hide again. In the meantime, I've gotten a few texts from Elza. Apparently, the snowy plain to the south of us is featureless, bland. Austin and Elza haven't noticed any change in their surroundings at all. If it wasn't for the road devoid of snow, they would swear they weren't moving at all. I'm sorry, listeners, give me a minute. The owner of our station, Amelia Mallor, has sent me some texts, and it must be important. She never texts me while I'm working. Oh. Pinecliffs. Amelia is worried. She seems to think that the Wanderer is coming for her. That would make sense, Pinecliffs. After all, she helped me decide not to meet with the Wanderer in the first place. She's going to hole up at Nighthawk's Diner, so everyone there right now should either leave or prepare for a fight. As we wait for this news to further develop, Pinecliffs, here is this week's weather forecast. Sunday will be a dark, cloudy day, with temperatures expected to reach the mid-20s. There is a 45% chance of snow. Monday will be a cold, bitter day, as it always is. Temperatures are expected to reach roughly 25 degrees below zero. Make sure to wear plenty of layers and try to keep your pipes from bursting, Pinecliffs. Tuesday through Friday will be a mistake. Something that never should have been, that we would take back, if we could. But we can't, can we? It will leave our hands stained red, just like that night. Saturday will be partly cloudy, with temperatures expected to reach the high 20s, and winds of roughly 10 miles per hour coming out of the south. This has been this week's weather forecast. Pinecliffs. Important news broke during our weather forecast. As Amelia got out of her car to go into Nighthawk's Diner, the roof of her car was flattened. As she sprinted into the building, Big Ed, the owner of Nighthawks, grabbed a double-barreled shotgun from underneath the counter and, after waiting for Amelia to get out of the way, fired at the door. An unearthly scream followed, shattering the diner's windows. A few unsuspecting customers nearby are still catatonic, whispering in an unknown language. Big Ed, after shooting the Wanderer, gave chase. However, due to the Wanderer's relationship with our own perception, Big Ed was unable to follow him. Presumably, the Wanderer won't be heard from again, at least not for a while. I'm sorry, Pinecliffs, this is all a bit much for me. I should have known that the Wanderer would do something like this. He let the news out just to ask me for a meeting. How did I think he'd react to a denial? If I had just had the meeting, none of this would have happened. I should have known. Well, Pinecliffs, it looks like Elza and Austin are back in town. According to the message Elza sent me, they are just as surprised as I am. They have been driving south for quite some time now, and just found themselves going north, back into town. This is odd, Pinecliffs. The only time anything like this has been seen in our little town was back when the community college still had a science and engineering department. What is happening here, Pinecliffs? Some sort of spatial anomaly to the south? And the Wanderer, whatever he is... I need a drink. Pinecliffs, these are all topics for another broadcast. Up next on our airwaves, pre-recorded coverage of the most recent hockey game, Pinecliffs v Snowbank, and a chance to win free season tickets for you and your family. This is Galen Good, signing off. Until next time, Pinecliffs. Until next time. This has been Pinecliffs Radio, written and narrated by myself, Kuhalan96. Addresses for music, sound effects, and video are in the description below. If you would like to listen to the first episode of this weird little podcast, check out Raener Lewington's channel in the description down below. It all started there. And I have the feeling that you'll like his content if you like mine. If you like this podcast, please like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And by the way, thanks for listening.